Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Progress with number 66 in the series Viewers Games. This one is from Kaushal and he sent me an email. This is Kaushal writing to you from India. I am an ardent follower of both your chess channels. Currently what intrigues me is your Viewers Game edition on Chess to Progress. I recently played a game online on the chess.com app and after finishing the game I really felt that the game can teach a lot to lots of viewers about the phrase that we use a lot in chess: attack is the best defense. I'm playing white in the game. Please give your personal analysis on the game and where I went wrong, if I did at any place, and what could have been better moves at that point in time in the game. And yeah, this was a blitz game with a time control of 5 minutes with increment of 5 seconds after every move. And let's have a look at Kaushal's game. He opened e4. He had a rating of 1117 on chess.com and his opponent played e6, setting up the French defense. Knight f3 from Kaushal, and that's the third most popular move after d4, which is the most popular, and d3, which is the second most popular. But knight f3 was played by Kaushal. h6. Very rarely played before. It's not a bad move as such, but it's not clear if h6 will be a useful move for black. If it's not a useful move later in the game, then it will be a waste of time and black has just wasted a move. And he is black, so he is already a move behind and you cannot lose a lot of time in the opening with black. So h6 is premature really. d5 would have been the normal move. After h6, Kaushal played bishop c4, brings his bishop into the game. Knight f6, knight c3 and bishop b4 with the threat of taking on c3, and then if white takes back with either the b or the d pawn, this pawn will be unprotected. It's a tactic we see a lot in many different openings. It's a good one to remember and look out for. A knight on f6, a bishop on b4 and a pawn on e4. After bishop b4, Kaushal did not worry about the e4 pawn. He actually encouraged the bishop to take on c3 with a2, a3. Bishop takes, Kaushal took back with the d pawn, and there goes that pawn on e4, which is now unprotected. White will get compensation for the pawn. Queen d4 is the best move here according to the engine, with a double attack. It's attacking the knight, it's attacking the pawn on g7. And this gives white compensation. Because of his advantage in development, black will have to play knight f6 to save both his pieces. White can then castle, for example. And yes, black has an extra pawn, but if you look at the pieces, white already has castled, has a knight and a bishop into play. The other bishop is ready to come into the game. He almost finishes development, while black only has developed one knight. So compensation for white. But after knight takes e4, Kaushal chose another move. He played bishop d2, developing that bishop. c6 from black, queen e2, hitting the knight, and d5, protecting the knight. Attacking the bishop on c4, and that bishop went to a2. And queen b6, nice move from black, putting pressure on the b2 pawn, but also on the f2 pawn with two pieces. Black is better here. Here Kaushal could have castled kingside, and if black then takes on b2, that's a mistake because of bishop b3 cornering the queen. Black's best move is then to take on c3, but then white has queen e5. Not easy to see, but this wins a piece for white. That knight will get lost. But after queen b6, Kaushal decided to castle the other way, castling queenside. But now there is queen takes f2 as a possibility for black, winning another pawn. He's now 2 pawns up. Taking with the knight on f2 instead, you could think it is good because the fork, but that's not that good because then white has bishop e3, and that forks the queen and the knight, and that's good for white. white will win that knight. But after castling queenside, black chose to develop his knight to a6. Not the best move. He could have taken on f2 with the queen. c4 from Kaushal. And again you can take on f2 here with a big advantage for black. But black decided on knight a to c5, bringing that knight to a better square. Kaushal took in the center, c takes, and played bishop b4. And now black decided to take on f2 after all. With the knight, he cannot take with the queen anymore. Knight takes f2, and Kaushal wrote in his email, "Crucial moves were played after 13 moves from both players, and after black's knight takes f2 on the 13th move, which iced down on both of my rooks, and also creates a situation where I can't capture that knight on f2 with the queen, due to the discovered double attack it can create on my queen. I hope the sequence of moves which I played after that 13th move from black will reflect the purpose I was talking about. The purpose of attack is the best defense." Okay, knight takes f2 was played. It's indeed a crucial move. And as Kaushal writes, he cannot take the knight, because then there's a discovered attack by black. Knight b3 check or knight d3 check. And because it's check and an attack on the queen, at the same time, black wins. After knight takes f2, it turns out that rook takes d5 is a stronger move in the position. And the complications turn out well for white. It's very complicated. Of course, that rook cannot be taken because the e-pawn is pinned. Black has not castled yet. But after knight takes f2, Kaushal did not take that knight, did not play rook takes d5. He played another good move, bishop takes c5. Queen took back, and now did he take on d5. That rook cannot be taken, as said, because the pawn is pinned, and also it cannot be taken by the queen because the rook is protected by the bishop on a2. So black retreated the queen to b6, and white keeps chasing the black queen. What he's trying is to deflect the queen so that the knight on f2 will become unprotected. Attack is the best defense, indeed. Queen a6 is the best move here according to the engine, but black played queen c6. And now white has a very strong move in rook f1. Kaushal did not play it, because now indeed that knight will get lost. If you try to save the knight with knight g4, then there is knight d4. Very nice move, hitting the queen, protecting the rook, and attacking the knight there. And if after rook f1 you play knight e4 instead, then knight e5 does the business, wins the knight on e4. White is attacking black's queen, queen a6 to keep the rook attacked, won't help, because then white crashes in on f7 with a winning position. So back to the game, queen c6 was played, rook f1 is the best move here, but Kaushal played knight d4, also a good move. Hitting the queen, queen took on g2, and now again rook f1 is the best move, but Kaushal went to e1. Black finally castled, and now Kaushal makes a very good move. It's not easy to take a move back. White just played rook h2 e1, but Kaushal recognizes that the rook is better on f1, so he moves the rook again to the correct square, and this is indeed the best move. It's not easy to admit that you made a wrong move, that you put a piece on the wrong square. Kaushal did it in this position, and well done to him for doing that. Mental strength from Kaushal. Here black is going to lose this knight on f2. He could have taken here on h2, at least get a pawn for the knight, but black got flustered, probably low on time as well, and played queen g5 instead. Yes, it is check to the king, but he had overlooked that this rook on b5 is covering the g5 square. It is of course quite unusual to have a rook there, so it's not surprising that black overlooked that the g5 square was not a safe square. Kaushal says thank you very much, h takes, and takes the knight as well. Now white has an overwhelming material advantage. I'll show you the remaining moves of the game. Bishop d7, finally developing that piece on the 21st move. Queen h5, Kaushal is going for a mating attack. f6, that knight can be taken because it is also protected by the bishop lurking in the corner. Bishop e8, hitting the queen. Knight takes g5 check, nice move. Not worrying about the queen, it's a discovered attack again from that bishop. Bishop f7 allowed a mate in one. Queen h7 is checkmate, and after 25 moves, Kaushal had won this game. Attack is the best defense, Kaushal said, and that's indeed what he did here. After losing that pawn on e4, he mobilized his pieces, developed his pieces, positioned his pieces better than black did, and after black missed that chance of queen takes f2, Kaushal took over, brought his pieces to good squares, and in the end was able to win this game very quickly. Well done, Kaushal, and thank you very much for sharing this game with the Chess2Progress viewers. Hope you enjoyed Kaushal's game. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and please subscribe to the Chess2Progress channel. Please leave a comment, I will read them all and I will reply to them. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share the video on social media, and you may want to check out my Chess2Impress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick for Chess2Progress. Thank you for watching.